Any over-unders that stand out to anyone here? I know the interesting one is obviously the wide receiver, or to me, the wide receiver talk, because you have Jerry Jeudy at over/under 11.5, and you have CeeDee Lamb at 12.5. But if you look at the Vegas odds for who's picked first, they're both at -110 right now. So, I mean, I think that's really a toss-up, but
The wide receiver one's going to be super tough to bet on. I'd honestly stay away from those.
I think
Jerry
Judy
Jeudy.
and CD are 1A, 1B. It's all personal preference, but I personally am. I think Jerry Judy's better, in my opinion.
That's not what the question was.
Well, I'm
Thanks for
saying
sharing
whichever
though.
one goes
And
first.
I think Henry Ruggs at an over under of 13.5 is going to be very fascinating. I think he's either going to blow by that or go way under that. I think he's a guy who could go anywhere from the end of the top 10 to maybe in the mid 20s because some team's going to fall in love with his speed or people are going to think, oh my God, these speed receivers haven't really panned out in the past, so I'm going to stay away from them.
what about Jordan Love at 19.5?
Hammering the over.
I am as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Hammering it. I don't even think he comes close to 19 personally. I think there's 3 quarterbacks that draft media is hyped up enough to where they go first before Love, and I think Love just hasn't received the hype to get a team to buy into him yet, especially at 19. I think he goes second round.
Also,
He's
I'll go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
you're fine. He's a guy that's going to be drafted by a team that probably already has a starting quarterback, and those teams aren't picking the top 20 usually. Like, you know what I mean?
Epinesa at 32.5. I like the under on that. I think if he doesn't go to where Rugg took him, which was what was that, Jacksonville 20,
Yeah.
he could go to New England at 23. So I think the under is a good bet.
I personally like Epinesa a lot, but he's not exactly a twitch defensive end, and that could scare off a lot of teams. So I can see a possibility where he does fall past 32. But I agree with you, Luke. I think he's right now, if we're talking right now, he's the second best defensive end in the class for me.
Right.
Strong guy. He's like I said, he's just not that freak athlete like Chase Young or Caleb Von Chase, and he's going to beat you with his strength, and he's going to beat you with pass rush moves strictly.
An interesting one for me is Christian Fulton at 24.5. Don't we have him going way under that?
16.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm not saying our mock draft's crazy. I think he does go earlier than that. I think he's a good player. I mean, 24.5 seems a little high to me. And his under odds are actually only -105, and his over odds are -135. So I don't know
And
if we're missing something, but
a big one is Andrew Thomas at 10.5. I like the under for that for sure.
Yeah, he's one of the top tackles in this class. I think he easily goes top 10.
I
I
don't know
really
about that.
like Patrick. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say I don't know about that because I think people are gonna fall in love with Mekhi Becton's combine numbers and his athleticism and what he could turn out to be at the next level.
They can still both go before 10 though.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true, but it depends because Wirfs and Jedrick Wills. It depends where everyone's seeing those
Yeah.
guys. Seems like he's flipped in the process. Andrew Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Herbert.
really like Patrick Queen under 25.5 at -145 odds. I don't see him falling past the Saints at 24. I think there's a lot of places he could go, and I think teams always take that rangy athletic linebacker sooner rather than later, unless they have injury concerns like Miles Jack.
I'd like to get the view you guys have on this guy. We haven't talked about him a lot. Is Brandon Ayuk, Arizona State wide receiver? They have him at 32.5. I personally think he's going to go over easy. I think he's going in somewhere in the mid-second round. I just wanted to get your guys' views on him. If anyone even knows who that is.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, are we sure that, what are the odds that someone takes Denzel Mims or even like a Michael Pittman? I mean, is Brandon Ayuk really significantly better than either of those guys?
Yeah. That's the thing with this receiver class. It's deep, but I feel like the top guys are the top guys, and I feel like because it's so deep that the top guys are going to be the only ones that go in the first.
Well, this wide receiver class kind of reminds me of the 2016 class with Josh Doctson, Will Fuller, and Michael Thomas fell all the way to the second round.
You want something that's sticking out to me right now is
I know. I was
Clyde
gonna say
Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is at 32.5, and his under odds, which we have him going at 32 exactly, his under odds are plus 650. Now that's a huge number. I mean, Vegas definitely thinks he's going second round. I mean,
it's a good value bet. I don't like I wouldn't feel confident making that bet, but it's good for the value.
I tell you
sure.
this, I would not be surprised if Tampa traded up into the first round again and snuck him for Tom Brady. I mean, can you imagine a better fit for Brady out of the backfield?
It's
Yeah, that'd be a
true.
really good
Yeah.
pickup.
Yeah, that really would be. And what about Herb 5.5? I mean, are we all consensus on the over on that? Or are you
I
guys?
wouldn't say
I
I'm
don't know.
totally sold on the over on that, just because Miami, there is a good chance Miami does take a quarterback, and there is a
Mhm.
very good chance that they look at Tua and say, do we want a guy that's going to play 8 games a season, or do we want a guy that's going to be here? And like, because to me, the biggest
Mhm.
accountability is ability. So it is very possible that Miami looks at both those guys and chooses Herbert.
Yeah. The value there is plus money with Herbert at over 5.5, and I think that's kind of not a huge bet, but I definitely think there is value there to be had with that over because I mean, I could see him falling. I don't see the huge upside in him, so I could definitely see him fall.
Yeah, we got to figure out if Ian Can't report is correct and the Dolphins. If do the Dolphins like him? Are they planning a smokescreen or what? I mean, I think that's going to be the key here. Is what do the Dolphins actually think of him? And then
Yeah,
there's even crap that the Giants might like him. I mean, I think there's a lot of
that
smokescreens around him.
that's definitely
I think
crap.
yeah, I think the
Yeah, I
Giants are
agree.
just trying to get someone to trade up and take their pick, honestly.
Well, I think the Dolphins have so many picks this year. I think you take Tua number 5. You don't move up because I don't think anyone's going to move in front of you, especially the Chargers. And you have so many picks this year. I think you take a Jalen Hurts as a security blanket in the 3rd, 4th round.
Hmm.
I don't disagree with that. So you do have Jalen Hurts going over that. What is that? 60 or something? I saw earlier. It's not on here, but it's Jalen Hurts like over 60 something. You think Jalen Hurts is a third round guy?
Yeah,
It
I
is on
definitely do.
here. It's 57.5.
I think if he does fall to the 3rd round, the Dallas Cowboys take him.
I
I
also
like under a lot on
Nice.
Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go in the mid-second.
I agree, Rug. I think
Yeah.
a lot of teams love Hurts. Anytime you get a quarterback with that kind of intangibles, there's a good chance that someone takes a shot on him just because he's flashed arm talent, but he doesn't. At most of the time, I don't see the QB arm that I need him to have if he's going to be an NFL starting quarterback.
Yeah, I agree, but what is his value as a better Taysom Hill situational guy? I think to a lot of teams in short yardage situation, let him run the wild card, kind of bully his way for a first down. I think there's going to be a team like I could see a New England taking him, a forward thinking team that's going to take him in the mid second round, maybe trade up for him. But I definitely like the under for Jalen Hurts.